Hey people of VC, it's Andy Cloudy Milder. Is thrash metal dead? That was a video that Scott Waters posted earlier in response to another video he saw where someone was claiming that there was no really good thrash metal being released in recent years as when compared with other heavy metal genres, and Scott went on and showed a bunch of fantastic bands and albums which showed that very much thrash metal is alive and well in the 2000s. Well, I've got another bunch of records. I don't think Scott showed any of these ones in particular. I've strayed away from the originators of thrash, so bands that were around in the 80s that are still going strong and releasing killer material. I've not included any of those in this video, but I just wanted to show what I've picked up in terms of new thrash metal releases since 2015, so the last 5 years. So first up, 2015, this is a band called Game Over. They are from Italy. This is For Humanity. This is a really good album. It's a very traditional 80s thrash sounding album, but incredibly good. Some really catchy tunes on here. Another Dose of Thrash is a really good song. Dawn of the Dead, Mountains of Madness, all good stuff. So this is Game Over, For Humanity. And the other 2015 release that I've got is this is Untouchable Glory by Gamma Bomb. Now Gamma Bomb have been around since around, I think 2005 was their first album release. They have released something a bit more recently last year, 2018, but I've not got around to picking that up yet. But I have this and Citizen Brain, which I think was around 2012. But these are again a really upbeat thrash band. They don't take life too seriously, but they are certainly not a joke band. I would love to see these guys live at some point in time. Moving on to what I've got from 2016. This is Resid and their 2016 release, Reality is a Lie. Resid are a German thrash metal band. I first became aware of Resid when they were supporting Anvil, and I think it was in 2016. It was when I first started going back to seeing gigs again. So they were kind of the first band that I saw live before Anvil came on, and they were amazing. I bought two of their older releases on vinyl at the time. So Civic Nightmares and Have Gun Will Travel. But these are from, I think these are actually reissues from 2016. This is certainly a reissue from 2016, but the albums are older, so I was going to say that's why I've not included them in this video, but there you go, I've gone and included them. So yes, Resid, good. They don't really have that German metal sound. I think they're more of a American thrash influence sound to them. They've also got a new album out this year or last year, which I've yet to pick up yet, which I hope to do soon. I am denied whether to show this band or not. So this is Hal Ripper, and this is their Complete and Total Fucking Mayhem. It's a compilation release of demos and things that the guys. It's a one-man metal project. James McBain, I think his name is. You could argue that this is more sort of black metal. And I'm not a fan of black metal, but I love this because I think it does have some of those thrashy influences in there that keeps me interested in the band. And you'll see a few more releases from Hal Ripper over the last few years. They're really active and hopefully really going places now. To match the t-shirt, this is the debut release. It's an EP, 6-track EP from Aggressive Perfector called Satan's Heavy Metal. I went to see these guys last night, actually, supporting Inhuman Nature, and if there was any question as to whether thrash metal is dead, the show I went to last night, there were 5 bands playing, 3 local bands, Aggressive Perfector, who are from Manchester, I think, and Inhuman Nature from London. I had a meeting at my son's school, so I didn't get there for the first 2 bands, so unfortunately I didn't get to hear them. But the 3 bands that I heard, absolutely killer, and they're all playing thrash metal, like their life depends on it. Aggressive Perfecto, again, you could probably put them more in the maybe the speed metal bracket, but I'm putting them in here because I think they certainly know how to thrash as well. That's available on Bandcamp pretty cheap, actually. Vector Terminal Redux. Again, this is the second Vector album I've got. I think this is Outer Isolation. I don't get on with so well. It's a little bit too technical for my liking, and it was 2015. So actually, yeah, I probably should have included that in my 2015 year, but still within 2016. Terminal Redux is a monster of an album. I absolutely love this. I can listen to this in any mood, whereas I find Outer Isolation a little bit harder to digest. Quite sort of technical thrash metal, that. It's interesting though, thinking about it, the different bands I've got here, whereas I'm classing them all as thrash metal, they all have their own individual sound, whether it be in slightly more speed metal, a little bit of black metal, and there may be a little bit of death metal in there as well, but there's something in there that certainly keeps me interested and makes me think that they thrash pretty hard. Moving on to 2017, we've got Hal Ripper again. This is Coagulating Darkness. It's what? I think it's probably classed as a full album, actually. 8 or 9 tracks. Limited edition. This was before he signed on to Reaper Records, and he's now moved on to a bigger label, and I can't remember who it is. It begins with P, I think. So yes, Hal Ripper, Coagulating Darkness, again on the sort of more maybe the black metal side, but certainly thrashy as well. And Game Over again. Now the first album I showed was what sort of 2015. This is 2017. It's a couple of years later. All in all, I think Game Over have got about 4 albums out. This is their latest one, I believe. Again, they're Italian band. I do prefer the previous one I showed, but Claiming Supremacy is still a really good thrash metal album, and you should check out Game Over if you like the really good sort of traditional sounding thrash metal without trying to be an 80s clone, which is where I tend to shy away from thrash metal bands, newer ones where they just kind of sound exactly like bands did in the 80s. I'd rather not listen to tribute bands. I'd rather listen to those bands from the 80s, you know, bring something new to the genre. Havoc. Havoc are pretty good. Although I've kind of stopped short of looking for more stuff after this. I kind of this is where it kind of borders for me on bringing something new to the genre versus being a little bit too 80s. I do enjoy this album. It is full of the sort of the classic thrash metal themes, war and politics and what have you. But yes, conform aside, Havoc. Again, a thrash metal band going strong in the current climate. Moving on to 2018. Again, this may well fall into the sort of speed, slightly blackened speed, but I think it's pretty thrashy. This is Vule, a UK band, and their release Hell, 10-inch vinyl, 6 tracks, absolutely really killer, sort of dirty, blackened speed, thrashy, really good stuff. Let's move on to this year. I only picked up a couple of releases this year, but from sort of thrash metal. We're back with Hal Ripper again, and this is their sort of latest EP, Black Arts and Alchemy, that they released on Reaper Metal Productions. Again, really good. Maybe again a bit more on the blackened speed metal side, but yeah, I still class this as thrash. Really great release. I've got this on CD as well, actually. I picked up the CD first and they brought the price down of the vinyl and I couldn't help myself. And last but not least, I mentioned them already, went to see them last night. This is Inhuman Nature. Showed this on a recent update as well. Absolutely a killer album. Discogs, and I think even themselves on their Bandcamp page, cast themselves as crossover thrash. I don't really see them as a crossover thrash band. I just think they are pretty thrashy, growly vocals. Great guys. I met a few of them last night. Had a bit of a chat with them, and they put on a thoroughly good show. I would thoroughly recommend. That's a lot of thoroughlies, but in human nature. Love this album, really good. And because I already had the album, I picked up a t-shirt of theirs as well. So there we go, pretty cool stuff. Anyway, that's my contribution to the notion that thrash metal is still very much alive and quite a vibrant genre in the metal community. Hope you've enjoyed these. If you know about any of these, then leave a comment below. If you can recommend any other newer thrash bands that you think I should check out, then leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.